So today we're gonna do something I've never done before and have no idea how to do. That's not square, that's all crooked. This property was abandoned for 17 years before I put up everything I had to buy it. Water feature. The previous owners left everything behind. A house full of belongings, a shop full of tools and equipment, and an old pony barn full of classic car parts. It's on a beautiful piece of property, but all the buildings are collapsing in total disrepair. Considering I put everything I have into this property, I don't have a lot of choice except try to bring it back to life. But one piece at a time, one stick, one board, we're gonna put this place back together. What is that? So welcome aboard, and thanks for joining me on the biggest project of my life. So today we're gonna do something I've never done before and have no idea how to do, but we're gonna do it anyway. So let's get ready to make some mistakes and learn something from it. Welcome back to Between the Sharks. All right, gang, today's project is to turn this footer into the beginnings of a foundation using these concrete blocks. We have to hit a very specific target, which is a finished height that allows us to match our finished floor out here with our finished floor in there. So I've never mixed this type of mortar before. I have never used a trowel. I have never laid block. Part of doing it yourself is, I guess, learning to do it yourself. Here's my visual representation of what we're trying to do here. We're gonna go 2 blocks high, 2 courses of block, sill plate, band joist, subfloor. In here, shove this little block of wood, 3/4 of an inch, which represents 2 3/8 of an inch. 3/8 mortar, 3/8 mortar, getting us to 16, 17 and a half, more numbers, 25 and a half. Now that doesn't match anything that we can see out here. That matches the finished floor in there, or what's left of it, and that is going to become our actual new subfloor in there. So we want our subfloor out here to be the same height as our finished floor in there. Anyway, we've just got to not screw this up. Theoretically, if we come up the 16 inches with the blocks, everything else should work out to be level with the floor in there. We did it all with a beep beep transit. We're going to do more of it today. We're going to start getting started though. First of all, we need a straight line, so we're going to use this string line. It's got red chalk in it, or it should. When you buy the stuff, this is the more permanenter stuff. They have less permanenter stuff, but don't use the red chalk where you want it to go away later. Use the red chalk where you don't want it to go away, which is like what we want now. All right, we kind of got a line-ish. To add just more issues, this building is not square to that building, is not square to that building. Like, these are all extensions. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark every 16 inches, bond, where the things bond together. Learned that from Mason the Mason. Actually, I think everything I am going to try to implement today, I learned from Mason the Mason. So check that guy out, subscribe to his channel if you actually want to learn how to do something. If you want to watch a circus monkey try, well, I'm your circus monkey gang. So what I can gather from the professionals that know how to do this is the best course of action, get it, block pun courses, is to do the ends. And if you get those right, then you can run a string between the two and have to think a lot less. And for me, that probably seems also like the best course of action. Just got to do it right on my first try. That would be a first. We're gonna mark every 16 inches. For those of you that don't know, your tape measure is full of secret codes. One of them is 16-inch marks. They are red squares. 16, 32, 48, 64, on and on and on. They do that so you don't have to think so hard. I'm gonna mark them way out because we're gonna hit this with mortar at some point. We finally get confident enough to do that. Might be a while. All right, made it to 24 feet. The other thing that may not be obvious to everybody at home, but is obvious to some folks, the folks in the know, is these blocks are 16 by 8 inches, but they're not really. You can see there it's 3/8 short of 16. It's 3/8 short of 8. That is so you can put a 3/8 mortar joint, and as they add up, it will become 16 by 8. They build that in for you, but you know, you don't know, you don't know. A guy can see with careful observation that this is going to be too tall without getting into what's underneath this. Boy howdy, inexperience and unique circumstances are combining for an unusual approach. This block and this block I've just set to be parallel to the one section of block wall that we have here that is kind of our reference point. That's not square, that's all crooked. This is my best bet, and this room is going to be extended, so I want to keep this room in line with this extension as much as possible. So theoretically, I would also love to hit that corner, come off that corner, and do whatever it takes to be parallel to that wall, which is what we worked for in setting up our forms. But if we didn't get it right, now's the time to deal with it. So I'm gonna set up a string line from that corner, try to hit both of these blocks and extend it out. We're just gonna take the time now, hope it works out in the long run. Oh boy howdy, I'm already stressing over the small stuff. I'm trying to make sure that I'm square-ish to something, but nothing's really square here or even straight. Because I'm extending this room, I'm trying to get this block wall parallel to that block wall under the assumption that that room is sort of square to that block wall, which isn't really, it's not something I can really prove right now. I've measured the room, it's pretty square with the diagonals, but that wall's not particularly straight. The block wall, not perfect. So depending on where you measure from, it's you get totally different measurements. I measured off this end, I measured off this end, and got these blocks close-ish, and then tried to make a straight line that touched the edge of both blocks and also that corner. It's definitely imperfect. It's not what I want to see. Will it work? Probably. The measurements for my foundation were off the same wall, but out of square is going to catch up with me somewhere. I can't decide how much effort this is worth right now, because this is only relative to that block wall, which really has no relation to that room that I'm fully aware of, which is really tricky. I wonder if there's a way to measure from this to the front wall of the house. Should I think about that? All right, here's my last best bet. I got my Lasco laser lined up right between the members of this beam, which should be under the roof. Transferred that line to the back of these 2x4s, made some place I can hook a tape measure onto, and I'll pull it out there. And that means I've got like 25 feet to just angle the dangle and get it all wrong. But it is the best thing I can come up with as getting a relative reference to the roof, which we're straight to the roof. We might be straight to the room. It's the best I think I can do, because there's not a lot to measure from. And then we're just gonna have to deal with the consequences, because we can measure forever and still get it wrong. I mean, all I can do is eyeball it. There's plenty of room for error there. Come on, buddy. $26,100. All right, it's a number. Oh boy, 26,250. Now with a foundation to measure off of, it looks like I'm 1.25 inches out over, not much, 14 feet. I staked it and I measured to that foundation. Boy howdy. The best I can cipher out, gang, we're a little under 3/4 inch out. But based on my measurements here, that also means that the roof isn't square to that foundation by a little more, all askew in the same direction, which compounds by the time we're out here. It's interesting and tricky. It all depends on what you're counting on to be right. I think my ridge and my laser was probably my best bet. All right, every time I measure something, the numbers seem to get worse. And just, you know, as a reference point, you can see that this block sticks out almost a ½ inch beyond that block. So it's stuff like that that's compounding all over the place. If we were building a building from scratch, we would be building our own square at our own level, and that would be far easier. But because I have to tie this into a very cattywampus building, I'm just trying not to set myself back. So I think the best I can do is split the difference, really. My measurements from my ridge line, theoretically, purely assuming that that beam is parallel to the ridge line and that ridge line is square to something, which there's no reason to believe any of that. So have I made a decision? I've made a decision. I'm gonna taper an inch between that point and that point, and we're just gonna run it out. That's all I can possibly do. I've solutioned the best I can solution for right now. I've got my line run all the way across. I think I've thought about this more than any human in history, just overthinking it to death. It's gonna be a-okay. Like, look at the rest of this and how it was all slapped together, and guess what? It's okay. All right, let's mix some mortar. All right, I don't know what I'm doing, but we're doing it anyway. Split a bag in half, poured some water in the bucket, poured some of this in the bucket. It's a little too soupy, so we're just gonna keep adding it till we get, you know, the consistency that we saw on the internet. Bag gives a ratio, but I'm not mixing whole bags at a time, and it says don't be soupy. That's pretty soupy. All right, that's something. The idea is, I guess, if you pick it up and you smack it down and it sticks, you're in good shape. If it's too thick, it'll fall off. If it's too thin, it'll fall off. I only know that from other people saying it. So don't follow me, follow those smarter guys and gals. Guess that's the starting point. Interesting. We'll get there. We'll get there. That's a block. Just shy of 8, that's what I want to see. Oh man, all right, so this is just one of those things. I have all end blocks. It's all I could get in this area. There are no quote-unquote line blocks you see with the little ears on them. However, I've seen pros do this in this area like lickety-split. I'm just not one of them. So I think my mortar mix was a fuzz too dry. I was worried about making it too wet. And yeah, I think if I do the head joints on end, if you tap the top of the block, it does seem to set the mortar a little better so it doesn't fall off. Because I'm not very good at doing it sideways. I guess I will be on the second round. Is it gonna rain? That'd be swell. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, I'm ready for another round of mortar, I guess. I'm gonna work through it, and if it rains, it rains. Cover it up. Don't have another choice. I'm learning. It's process. If this was a job site, I'd have been fired 20 minutes ago, hour ago, long time ago. Fired. I'm having trouble remembering to keep the trowel leaned in because that makes it more better. Doing the head joint vertically and then tapping it has been my most successful thing so far. We're staying straight, we're staying level, we're staying on bond, 16-inch gaps. My instinct is to push the blocks into the mud. And that's not what you want to do. You need to set it gently and then you can tap it down. They don't want to come back up, you know what I mean? Like, You got to tap it into place, and that's it. So don't push down and think you're going to be able to adjust the other way. That Falcon knows. So I'm also losing a ton of this mortar down into the holes, falling off the trowel. I forget to slap the trowel. It's all going to be fine. We'll have a block wall eventually. I may go through all this mortar though. We'll see. And I may need to go buy some more because we're not very far, and we're half a bag in. That's, you know, it's the price of, that's just the thing, gang. All right, let's see if we can just run this out, make some progress, spill less mortar, see if we can get better in a place that we can collect it again, you know? Let's do that. Oh, gang, the sun's killing me. It is brutal out here. We're making a wall. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be absolutely great. Appreciate you watching. Consider subscribing. All right, dive back in. Here we go. A mason I will never be, but look, man, we got a course of block down, and I think it's good enough for us. You know what I'm saying? It's straight-ish, it's level-ish. If I was doing this like 3 or 4 courses high, I'd be pretty worried right now. But slowly you learn to like stop working the stuff so much, just kind of let it do. The trowel gets a little more natural. I'm a long way from being any good at anything, but passable, you know? So I am bushed already. It's been a lot of work this week. We've just been rolling right through it, but I need to stop and bang in some rebar every 4 feet. I kind of forgot about that when I put this row up here, so we'll just do what we can do. Put our verticals in, we'll fill those with cement later, and then once that's done, we'll be able to break into our second bag of mortar, and we should have theoretically just enough. Oh boy. All right, good news is this is going to fit down in there, so every 6 holes is going to get a rebar. We're about ready for the second course. As you can see, the sun is finally creeping this way. Sun? No, that's the shade. Okay. I think I'm going to take 20 minutes, cool off, reapply some sunscreen. We're into our second course. I'm glad I'm making these videos for a lot of reasons, but I hardly remember what the topography was here. I know that there was like a rolling hill down. But this essentially is going to be our grade. We're going to be able to refill this back in, which is about at that level, so that, you know, so that stepping out from the kitchen will be into a much more level plane. We moved a lot of dirt here, team. A lot of dirt. It's definitely a skill and an art to be good at, even more so to be efficient at, which I'm neither, but it doesn't mean that this is undoable. Obviously, it's taking me the better part of a day to get 2 courses of block 24 feet long up, but it's what it takes. So you can do this, you know. I'm glad I spent the time on the foundation. So let's put some more blocks up and call it a day. We made a thing, gang. I mean, it ain't perfect. It's not pretty. It'll do, I hope. You know, it's not, there's this, I could not get this last block in particularly well without, I just couldn't get the stuff to stick to the sides. I did not master that. I got the head joints kind of okay if I did it vertically and tapped it. I don't know if my life would have been better if I had these kinds of blocks, because obviously they're made for it. But I've definitely seen actual people that know what they're doing do a better job than I did. But I think it's gonna hold up our little 14-foot room. You know what I'm saying? I think it's gonna work out. I'm pretty pumped about it. I've never done this before. Never did the footer. Never did the block. At this point, we just got to fill the block, and then we're back into some stuff that I kind of almost sort of, you know, understand how to do. Jump back. Sill plate, band joist, floor joist, and then subfloor, and then we can start, you know, building a wall. Got to finish the kitchen design. Yeah, buddy. This is rad. This is rad. All right. As always, thanks for watching Between the Sharks, and we will see you on the next one. Yeah.